What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave. And I am coming at you from Germany at about 10 o'clock in the morning after just finishing watching the mind-blowing CWC Finale. Yes, that's right, the Cruiserweight Classic. Now, look, you're talking to a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of regrets when it comes to, wrestling and everything. I regret not finding a way to go live last night. Body wasn't able to do it. I couldn't do it, plain and simple. But let me tell you, I regret it because, quite simply put, what the CWC put on was, as a whole, one of the best wrestling programs, period, I have seen in a very long time. That level of emotion, that level of technical expertise, that level of production value. But the fourth, that level of politics. Yes, we're going to talk about the entire event. Oh yes, trust me. We're going to talk about the matches. We're going to talk about what probably should have been the final match in a moment. We're going to talk about all of that. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is WWE politics. All right. As you guys know, and so many of you lament on a daily basis, the WWE does what the WWE wants to do. For business reasons, for personal reasons, for whatever the case may be. Now, having a 32-man tournament like this has a lot of complications, especially when you go outside of your company for most of it to scout talent, to bring in talent, and to ultimately crown a not only tournament champion, but it turns out a division champion for a new budding division within your company. So many complications. You bring in the best guys in the world. You go get Kota Ibushi. You go get Zack Sabre Jr. You get these guys with hopes, and at the beginning of the process, almost a certainty that these guys will sign with you full time. When these guys do not sign, it becomes an issue as the tournament goes on. You see, I feel tonight what happened was a clear sign of really, really, really bad WWE politics, because I feel we were robbed a little bit, just a tiny bit. There's not a lot to complain about, but there is this. TJ Perkins, absolutely the correct choice to win this tournament. If Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi are not signing with the WWE, as it seems like they have not, and they will not for the time being, if you're crowning a new divisional champion, which makes sense considering everything that went on in this tournament, then TJ Perkins, with his emotional backstory, with his technical prowess, with his longevity in the business already, he is the right guy to win the tournament. That being said, how much more incredible would it have been for TJ to have beaten both Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre in the same night? Now, you see, I'm going to be complaining a little bit about WWE politics, but not for the reason that you think. You see, it would be too easy to say, well, there's no reason why Zack Sabre or Kota Ibushi couldn't have just won the tournament. Yeah, there is, actually. There's a whole lot of reasons why you could make that. Look, you don't sign with the company at the end of the day. Yes, you get to showcase on the WWE Network in 3, and in some cases 4 matches. Doesn't mean that you should necessarily win their tournament. This isn't a real athletic competition. It's storyline driven. It's written by writers. Completely understandable. But to not have either one of them in the finals is borderline travesty. It's a borderline travesty. It really is. Because I like Grand Metalik quite a bit. Also signed with the WWE. It's just a little bit too on the nose, and I think it's a little bit too divisive for the WWE to put the two guys that signed over the two bigger stars that did not sign. I think it sets a very bad precedent. I think it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, including the two aforementioned guys who did not sign, Zack Sabre and Kota Ibushi, but other guys that you're trying to covet, not only for next year's Cruiserweight Classic, which I'm assuming there will be a second based off the success of this one, but just in general, bringing people over to know that you're going to have to deal with the politics. Not only know you're going to have to deal, but to see them on display in such grand fashion will give a lot of people pause, especially because of how wrestling has changed. It's almost like it's reverting back to the 80s in a lot of ways, in the 70s, because people are making money, good money, without the help of gigantic television constructs and contracts, because television has changed. In the 80s and 90s, cable was becoming king. It was becoming this big entity. The money was in cable. All these cable companies were backing the promotions in one way or another. Some very, very, very hands-on with the Turner situation, WCW, and others with just grand partnerships like WWE and USA Network. The budgets were there to just hand out obscene amount of money. That has changed. Ratings are down. People are not watching TV. They're still watching the product. They're just not watching it on TV anymore. They're finding other ways. And because of that, money goes away from the television side of it and goes back to the power of the individuals, goes back to the power of the independents, goes back to the power of the international markets that can truly, truly pay these guys on par for less dates. So you have a guy like, I don't know, AJ Styles, for instance, who goes over to New Japan, did not need to come to the WWE, was ultimately driven back mainly because it was Japan and he was away from his family, and it was something that he always wanted to do, which is being a WWE. I would say that worked out for him. But you're looking at a guy like Ryback, who is really setting a big precedent, because you're talking about a guy who's never been necessarily over, huge in a big way, has a serious void in talent, yet is reportedly charging $5,000 plus per appearance and getting it. So when you have these situations, it makes it a lot harder to want to go to a situation like WWE full time. So I think the WWE made a big mistake by not bucking a little bit of a trend and at least putting one of those guys in the finals. Not only because it would have worked for that mindset to give some people peace of mind, but it also would have made for a much greater story. TJ Perkins beating Kota Ibushi in the semifinals, then Zack Sabre in the finals would have been absolutely historically amazing. I mean, his win is already incredible, but if he would have beaten both on the same night. Now, personally, I would have liked to have seen the opposite happen. I would have liked to have seen him beat Zack Sabre in the semis, and then if we would have got that exact same match out of Ibushi and Perkins that we get in the semifinals, and we would have gotten that in the finals instead, we're talking perfection here, kids. We're talking absolute perfection. It would have been one of the greatest events in wrestling history, and I believe that. That is no bullshit, because that's how good that match was. It would have been a perfect cap to the tournament. Could you have done it with Grand Metalik? Yeah, I think you could have. You could have had him beat Zack Sabre first, like he did, and then beat Kota Ibushi in the finals, but it wouldn't have had as great an impact. Yes, people like Grand Metalik, but TJ Perkins had this emotional thing, and before he beat Kota Ibushi, he was way more over than he was after he beat Kota Ibushi. Beating Kota Ibushi actually hurt him going into the finals, and you could see that in that final match with Grand Metalik. Not only were people a little bit out of it on the TJ Perkins side, but they were kind of out of the match. They were a little bit spent emotionally by that point. Still great reactions to the match itself, but you could see people were a little bit exhausted, drawn out. I don't know what the proper word is, but you could tell there was a notch down from what they were at their highest peak with TJ and Kota. People did not want to see Kota Ibushi lose. Plain and simple. I didn't want to see Kota Ibushi lose. How could anybody want to see Kota Ibushi lose? Oh my God. He's incredible. He's literally one of the 5 best wrestlers on the planet right now. Quite literally. But you can make an argument TJ Perkins might be in that conversation as well. A guy, I have to admit, I really didn't know too much about. I had heard his name, but I didn't know a whole hell of a lot before this tournament. I almost feel like I was missing out on something really special. This kid, he's not even a kid, he's my age. This guy, his entire package, he's cool, he looks good, he's amazingly skilled at both high flying and technical wrestling. He's got a great theme song. He's just got a great package all together. He is a well put together commodity. He's a completed package. And he doesn't have anything that takes away from him, like the Lucha Libre factor, which can, in its perfect form, Lucha Libre, it's a little bit hard to translate to television, and it's a little bit hard to always really grab the audience. It's one of the reasons why it's never really grabbed hold on television. I mean, you can make an argument about Lucha Underground, but I would make that argument exactly why it proves my point. You know, there's issues there with not only the wrestling style, but other aspects of it. So you're always going to have that little bit of a problem with a guy like Grand Metalik, even though he was very over in this tournament. I don't know how long it's going to last. We're going to find out because he's going to the main roster as well. It's going to be interesting. Let's talk about the show itself now. We got through that part. We talked about the politics and everything. You guys see my stance on that. I think the WWE made a big mistake with their political maneuvering. That's just me. Let's talk about the show itself. Beautifully put together. Holy God. Beautifully put together between Triple H narrating the opening package, Daniel Bryan and Ranallo really meshing in the finals more than they have the entire damn tournament. They've been good the whole tournament on commentary, but tonight they were special. The opening video package that highlighted all 4 finalists was just, it was gorgeous, man. It really was. It was quite amazing. They opened up with Grand Metalik and Zack Sabre Jr. in a really cool match, man. There's no reason why people love Zack Sabre Jr. the way that they do. I mean, how can you not? The guy is unbelievably talented. He's good looking. He's cool. And he's just got this really cool mat wrestling style that you don't see anymore. And you could see at times during this match, which was a good match, not great match. It was good, not great. You could see the problem with Styles in a guy, when you see him in there with a guy like Grand Metalik. A lot of the transitions that we see out of Zack Sabre Jr. that make him so fun to watch, he had a little bit harder time getting on Grand Metalik. Now, if it seemed like over time, Grand Metalik did adjust to it a little bit better. I think he did a very good job. I don't think there was anything wrong with the match. It was the weakest of all the matches that we saw tonight, though, including that tag team match. That's just my opinion. I think that this was not the worst. I don't want to say the worst match. I just think it was not the best match of the night. I think it was, if you're ranking it for the night, I think you put that, you open with that, and it was an opener for a reason. Very good match, especially the way it opened, but when you go so high octane at the beginning and then you go to a grinding pace afterwards, it's kind of hard to really keep yourselves into it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it was bad by any stretch. It was very good, but there was some issues, and I think that we've addressed that. After that, we get a wonderful, wonderful match out of Kota Ibushi and TJ Perkins. This match is going to live on the WWE Network, and it is going to be reverted back to for decades. It's going to be one of those matches that if you didn't appreciate it watching it the first time and just how magnificent it was, let me tell you, you're going to really appreciate overtime. The emotional storytelling, the physical nature of the match, everything about it. The high flying was beautiful. The high spots were amazing. The finishes, the false finishes, the will not give up attitude of TJ Perkins. The almost arrogant ending with Kota Ibushi almost feeling like he had to have this the way that he was going to have it at the end there. It was gorgeously done. Gorgeously done. The beginning of the match with TJ checking the kicks, something that nobody has done in a wrestling ring. You never see anybody checking kicks in a wrestling ring. It was just very cool. It felt real. It felt organic. It felt hard-hitting, impactful. It was incredible. I was blown away by this match on so many levels. So many levels. You could talk about the Pele kick from the top rope, catching TJ off the top rope with that Pele kick. You can talk about the amazing finish with that unbelievably interesting version of a knee bar into an almost STF-like stretch situation. It was gorgeous, man. It was a sight to behold. You got to see the Phoenix Splash the way it's truly supposed to look, even though he missed it. Just this match was incredible. I would have loved to have seen this as the final match. It would have made it perfect. The show was a 9.5. That would have made it a 10. I really do believe that. It was incredible. I love the fact that TJ Perkins has made everybody tap out. I love the fact that he made Kota Ibushi tap out. I have no problems with the fact that Kota Ibushi lost. I have a problem with the fact that both Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre lost in the opening round of this night. I do have a problem with that, as I already covered, from a political standpoint. But that's just me. You go to a cooler match after that, because that's what you have to do. That really didn't turn out to be much of a cooler match, because I got to admit, Nomar Dar and Cedric Alexander came in with an agenda, and that was to tear the house down. And they certainly did that with DIY, Ciampa and Gargano. I love that team. They are a fantastic team. I can't wait to see them both continue their run as a tag team on NXT, because I think they're going to do both, but be big parts of the Cruiserweight division on Raw. It's just so much fun. They're fantastic. I love the match. I thought this match was better than Grand Metalik and Zack Sabre. Not by a whole hell of a lot, but just by a little bit. I think it was, when you look at it, was the second best. It would be, I'd rank that when you're going down. If Metalik and Sabre was 4, this would be 3 for me. The final match, the finale, quite incredible. Quite incredible. And it was prefaced with this wonderful string of interviews with William Regal and Corey Graves talking about best moments. Then Triple H coming to the ring and presenting this title belt to us that some people are going to hate, some people are going to love. Now, if you are like me and you love the branding aspect of what the WWE is doing right now, you're going to love this, because the CWC title is a little bit unique from the other titles. The Cruiserweight division title is a little bit different as far as the design of the belt itself. It almost looks more like a hybrid of the regular title design and the SmackDown Tag Championships, if anything. Almost looks like the old women's title in some ways too. But you look at it from that aspect, and then, of course, what stands out is the purple belt itself, the purple strap, if you will. And some people are going to be like, oh, me, I get it. I like it. It will always represent the CWC. It's not easy to pull off purple. They did. And I really dig it, man. I like what they did here. I'm a fan of it. I have no problems with it. It's going to be represented well, and it's going to be cool, man. It's a branding thing, and it's a really cool branding thing. So you have all of that prefacing the final match, which is Metalik and TJ Perkins. And it felt like it was not having the same emotional impact as we saw earlier in the night out of TJ, but still very heavy. And this is my second favorite match of the night. I thought it was absolutely brilliantly done. I thought it was great. I really did love this match on every single solitary level. These guys went for it. They both hit so many moves. They kept transitioning of the luchador style, and then TJ trying to fight against the luchador style. I mean, there was just so much brilliance to all of it. TJ getting physical battle wounds, probably more from the Kota Ibushi match that was starting the show after all the wear and tear that he took in the Grand Metalik match, but still incredible battle wounds and a visual purple raspberry all over the shoulder of TJ Perkins. It was quite a visual to behold. And then ultimately, TJ getting the victory over Grand Metalik in the fashion that he did just was incredible. It was a great way to end the night. It did seem like some of the crowd was taken out of it emotionally just because of the fact that Kota Ibushi lost. All that being said, every time you put a mic in front of TJ Perkins' face, he did a great job of saying inspirational, if not a little bit pandering things, but that's okay. That's who this kid is. He's going to be that squeaky clean, good guy baby face. And hopefully he's going to have one hell of a run as the Cruiserweight champion. This kid is a special wrestler. And it's going to be fun to see him in wars with Zach Gallagher, Cedric Alexander, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Rich Swann, Grand Metalik. We're going to see all of these on Monday Night Raw. How you can't be excited for that, I don't know. They found a way, hopefully, to make 3 hours work. If 3 hours on Raw do not work with the inclusion of the Cruiserweight Classic, or the Cruiserweight Division, then it's never going to work. Because if you can't dedicate an hour to 2 to 3 matches a week to the Cruiserweights, then there's no point in having this division. There should be 2 to 3 Cruiserweight matches on every Monday Night Raw. If you have between 10 and 12 signed Cruiserweight wrestlers, which it seems like they do, and that's not including guys who are already on the roster, guys like Kalisto, who will probably be coming over from SmackDown at some point, guys like Neville, who I believe is under 205, who should absolutely be a linchpin of that division. There's a few others, too. If you can't find a way, I believe Kofi Kingston's got to be under 205. He's got no muscle definition on him. There are plenty of guys that you have that you can make part of this division. So there's no excuses to me. None. Why Raw should not be markedly better from this point on. I mean, they have this huge influx of talent, which is going to be good for Raw, but also good for SmackDown. And I'll tell you why. Because now this means that certain trades that we've wanted to see from Raw are people leaving, like Jack Swagger coming over to SmackDown, maybe not a big one, but some of the other ones down the line, Cesaro, maybe a few others coming over to SmackDown, Sami Zayn, for instance. Now that can happen with this new influx of talent that's going into Raw. Also, guys coming up from NXT, they have a clear path to SmackDown now. So I think this is good for everybody. More talent, less bullshit. It should be really, really special. So I'm enthralled with this. I thought that the final was a perfect cap to a wonderful tournament. Very unique, very special. I like the fact that it was just a tournament and not something that we've seen misused by other companies where they had points and all kinds of weird, in like representing their countries and have points and all that stuff. I'm glad they didn't do any of that, because you got a wonderful mix of a tournament setting with real life, real world, being very proud of your nation as well. I mean, you had all of that rolled into this one tournament, and it was just beautiful. I loved it. Huge fan. What did you guys think? I want to know that now. Hit me up on Twitter at @OnDaveV, or write in the comment section of this video. Let me know what you thought of the Cruiserweight Classic, because I thought it was très magnifique. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the review. I'm sorry about the week that's been this week. I've not been able to hit those late night reviews. I live in Germany. I'm messed up physically. You guys know the deal by now. But I'm going to try to make it up to you this weekend. Can't promise anything for tonight live, but I can tell you this. Friday for certain, myself and Jake Link, the legendary comic that he is, we will be doing a very, very big live Nerd and the Jerk. So make sure you guys are here for that. And then who knows what I'm going to do this weekend. At least one Dead on Dave live. Viewer questions, talking about other stuff. Paige, Alberto Del Rio, Kurt Angle, this weird rumor with The Undertaker, Sting, Brock Lesnar, and someone else in a fatal four-way. Just weird stuff is going on right now. And we're going to talk about all that, so make sure that you're checking out everything that's going on the channel this weekend. I am your destination for the weekend for wrestling talk, okay? Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Go check out everybody within the community. Check out my featured channels list that has guys like Tommy C over at Shuffling the Point. You got Jeff Huffman, Grand Slam 87, video game guy, baseball guy. Go check him out. Workout guy. Get in shape, fatties. Just like, no, I'm fat too, but I'm losing weight, trying to, at least. Yeah, I am. A lot of other great people on there. Make sure you're checking them all out. Real Talk, The Metaphor Messiah. So many good ones. Go check them out, all right? Thank you very much for joining us right here on Dead on Day Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget that. Very important. We'll see you next time. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Keep it copious, folks. Peace.